Scott Laws, operations manager at Goulding's Lodge. This area got discovered by John Wayne through the Goulding's family. Mike and Harry Goulding, the original owners of this property, catch my breath, they went to Hollywood to petition to John Ford to bring his movies to this country as a great backdrop to what was considered then as the spaghetti western films. And Harry Goulding and his wife loaded up in their Model A Ford during the time of the Great Depression as a chance to bring income to this area, as trade and barter had not brought them any income during that time. He had heard that John Ford wanted to bring his movies to this area, and so they loaded up and went to Hollywood. While he was in Hollywood, he met with John Ford's secretary, and she says, without an appointment you can't see John Ford. And Harry says, well, I've come a long ways, I would really like to see him. She says, well, I'm sorry, that's not going to be possible. So he went to his vehicle and got his bedroll, brought his bedroll back to John Ford's secretary's office and proceeded to lay it out. And she says, well, what are you doing? And he says, I've come a long ways, I really need to see John Ford, I am not going home without seeing him. And so as she realized the seriousness in his voice, she called for backup, called for security to have him removed from the office. And as he heard that somebody was coming to remove him, he laid out some photographs that Joseph Muñez, a famous German photographer, had taken of the area, and he had them laid out. Well, the gentleman that had come to throw him out of the office happened to be the site coordinator for John Ford's movies, and as he saw the photographs, he asked where they were from, and he says, well, this is my home in Monument Valley, southern part of Utah. And he said, I would really think that this would make a great backdrop for your next films. And he called John Ford out. John Ford came, they discussed business, and as Mike and Harry came back to Flagstaff, Arizona, Hollywood was already waiting in Flagstaff to come here to film their first film in Monument Valley, and followed him out here and was shooting production within 2 weeks after that.
And do you know what film that was? Do you remember?
I believe it was Stagecoach.
Stagecoach?
John Wayne's first movie.
Wow.
And that's how John Wayne, this was actually where his first, back then he was a extra in a couple small-time movies, but this backdrop's when John Wayne became a star, and that's, I think, what made the light shine on it as well.
Wow, thank you very much. I'm just going to pan around here a little bit so people can get a look of how spectacular this place is, the setting. And of course, here's a likeness of the man himself right there. Pretty cool.
This home behind you was the Goulding's residence, the one they lived out here, and trading post where they did a large business.
And the lodge has been open since when?
The lodge, the Gouldings, Harry and Mike, built the first 8 rooms down there, and it's been going since the early 1920s. And the Knox College out of Tennessee actually had it during the 60s or late 60s, early 70s, and they added on the other rooms, and then the LaFont family, who currently owns it now, purchased it in 1981, and they added on the lower level of rooms.
Okay.
And the gift shop and all of that.
Tours and whatnot. Terrific place.
And the grocery store and everything down below.
Terrific place. Beautiful.